Okay, so for the third time now, I've redone this video, and I was going to go through the audio, listen to it, like, retranscribe or whatever, but at this point, it's easier to just, like, re-record it for the third time. And I'm still trying to, like, get ahead, because next week is SaintCon, and that's going to be a week. So, yeah, it's not, like, it's a lot of fun and not a lot of fun now. I'm just trying to get ahead so that I can just upload videos. But anyway, I'm back here for the third time trying to do a video on like 5 like semi-easy to set up front ends for Ollama. And speaking of the devil, I've got to set it running. And so basically all we've got to do is get it going. And then for our first one, we're going to go into this one. It's basically called Msty. And again, these are all GUI front ends that provide a much easier to use user interface for you to interact with your Ollama instance, or in many cases, any other like AI API. So you can interact with Grok with some of these. You can interact with ChatGPT with some of them, Claude, and so on. So I've basically got, I may have to reset it up, but yeah, I'm going to have to reset it up. So Msty's a pretty simple one in a lot of ways. So if you are wanting something that provides an interface that isn't the command line and also is able to download models, Msty's probably honestly your best choice, because on top of the interface stuff, if we go into the local AI, you've got the option of downloading models in Msty, and it will run the models on your system using the app image. So you download the app image, you run it, and then you can manage the different models that are here, and you can see the different models and options that they've got and all that. You've got your star coder up here, your dolphin mixtral, and so on. You can import GGUF models and so on. What interested me was the fact that you can add remote providers in as well. So you've got OpenAI, Claude, like I said, Gemini, Grok, and so on. So I want an Ollama remote, and okay, so all I've got to do is remember the default port, and then we can fetch models, and I can select and add all these models to it now. Okay, so now that's all I have to do to set it up with my local Ollama instance. If you're running Ollama on a separate server, then you would just point it to that server. So you could have your own Ollama instance on a server at home and provide it there. You can set default prompts, so you can have different profiles for, in essence, fine-tuning different scenarios with them. So like a lot of people may have like something like this. So you've got an outline that you give the model, and then you can go from there. So now I can go in. I've got my dolphin coder selected. And now it's going to provide different information. Some of these will provide you with token information from the response and so on. So it's going to take a second. You can add different prompts to your library, or there are some pre-added ones: an astrologer, ASCII art, biblical translator, your babysitter. Let's see. Okay, so you've got a whole library of like different things that you can do with it. So we've got our, I don't know, it's going to keep going. Can I tell it to stop? Stop it. Okay. But yeah, so that's our settings. Msty, pretty simple so far. The other ones kind of fall into the same deal. Oh, you do have different chat areas you can go through. So like this one, you can see past chats that I've worked with. Tiny Dolphin here. You've got Tiny Dolphin there and testing around and messing around. And then, yeah, Dolphin, Llama 3 was working with that one. So you can see, and it'll take these different conversations and use them as context as you continue different chat sessions. You do have quick prompts, attaching knowledge stacks, images, documents, and so on. So depending on if the model supports it, you do have other options for messing around with stuff to fine-tune your experience with it or to interact with different instructions and how the model's going to react. And you've got your quick commands over here that'll tell you how to do stuff. If I wanted to add another workspace, I could do that here too. Name it, set everything up, location, it'll save the chats, and so on. Okay, so the next one we're going to work with, coming off of Msty, is MindWork. Well, no, actually, let's go to LLocal. This one is a much simpler one, and it's specifically built for Ollama. Just Ollama, that's all it does. Like, pretty much all you have to do is it will automatically, if you've got Ollama running on your system, it will automatically connect to it and interact with it. And then you can also tell it to pull different models from Ollama's database. So if I were to put in like a model here that's available on Ollama's repositories, then it would pull it using this front end. You can see the different models I've got listed here that I've installed otherwise. It does have some other themes. So you can go through and have different styles for it. It's only got a few. But yeah, here past chats that I've done. Yeah. You do have the ability to do multi-line if you do Shift-Enter. It's just like Discord, okay? And you do have a capability of adding files, uploading an image, depending on the model that you're using inside of Ollama. And then, yeah, web searches as well. So I can close that out. It's going to be using Llama 3.2. I can set it to Tiny or Dolphin if I want to. It'll take a second to load it. Yeah, well, yeah, anyway. So if I can start a new chat up here and then it'll save it in the sidebar here. But yeah, pretty simple. You can get rid of the sidebar, but it's really not much to it. It's really simple, and it's an Ollama front end. That's all it is. You do have a knowledge base here. You can add different files to it. Let's see. But yeah, I believe, yeah. So you add to it using the thing here. So these will add to the knowledge base that you hand to Ollama is pretty much it. Okay, now we're going to go into MindWorks AI Studio. So I've saved kind of the first one, Msty, was one that's basically an all-in-one package. Then the next one was just Ollama, pretty simple. These next two are kind of some that I find is more featureful and that I think are more of my favorite ones. So that's why we're going in this order. What? It was working just a moment ago. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. We're going to try that again. I don't know. What is up? What are you doing? It's having an issue with EGL display. What the heck? That's not it. I'm kind of disappointed. So apparently it doesn't want to work under River. So we're going to move on to Chatbox. So MindWorks AI Studio was one that was kind of growing on me, but Chatbox is one that I've kind of leaned toward as more of one of my favorite ones. So when it first comes up, you've got this just chat area. And it's really, really simple. So you can just hit it there. Oh, you've got these different conversations that you can roll through, and it keeps track of what model that you had selected for each one. We're going to apply the update since it's distracting me like that. But anyway. And then thank you for the update info. I will look at that later. So you can see I had something roll in here where I asked it to do something in Coder. You've got different assistants that you can work with. So our settings are pretty simple. So it's got different providers. Again, Grok, ChatGLM, Ollama, Claude, OpenAI, Chatbox AI for their own custom one. You've got your own custom provider. Ollama is pretty much a custom provider. Anyway, you can set your different tolerances, your default model, and so on right there from the first window. You've got your display settings, font size, system theme. Oh, you can show the number of tokens, which is really cool when you're working with something because you can see the token count at the end of the response. Chat layout. Default prompts. So the default prompt will help determine how the model's going to respond. And then you've got your other settings as well. So keyboard shortcuts, data backup, what have you. And yeah. So you can see our token count is right here. And then we've also got 599 tokens used, 599, 724 used, and then our model. So if I can also go to copilots, and these are basically different, more in essence fine-tuned setup, or wait, no, they're in essence, I guess you could say autocomplete settings, but so like the GitHub Copilot and so on. You've got the image generation, so if you've got a model on that allows image generation, you can use it in Chatbox. And yeah, you can see they've got a pre-fabbed up chat with different images set up in it. Yeah. Pretty cool. And yeah, markdown examples and so on. And then if I hit new chat, I can be like, okay, what do I want to do with it? I want to delete that one first. I haven't updated the models in at least a week, so I may need to do some of that to get more up-to-date data that they're built on, but Yeah, so I'm working with like Llama 3.2 is the latest one. Gemma 2 is kind of the one that I have here, but I haven't quite gone through and updated them fully. It's going to take a second for the model to initialize and then roll into the situation. Maybe. It's gonna run really slow. I appreciate the Google domination thing. Okay. I think we're good. That's fine. We don't need the rest, but you can see that it works quite well. Again, it's very similar to other front ends we've already looked at, and even past videos where I've worked with Ollama, it in essence reacts the same way as the default Ollama front end. So, Chatbox, pretty good. The next one is one that I don't think I'd quite recommend for varying reasons. Okay, this last one is interesting because it's a little bit different than the others, mainly because of the developers behind it. So you can see with the past chats that I've already had, it's quite Chinese in the front end. So basically when you first open Cherry Studio up, it's going to come up with their default models it's going to want to do. But pretty much all you're going to do is go down to the settings here. If you're really going to use it, it's going to have Silicon Flow as the one open by default, and it's going to use a Quentune whatever models. You can disable that with the tick box up here and go to Ollama, enable Ollama, and what's important and is different between this one and the other ones is you have to have that slash a v1 on the end, otherwise it's not going to work. Then it's going to detect your models, and you can go in. Let's see, you can you can manage models. It'll detect the models you have, and then you can select them, add them, and then they'll show up here. Obviously, this one allows access to the GitHub, Gemini, OpenAI. Let's see, was Claude in here? Grok. Yeah, a number of them are Chinese. So there is that, of course, being a Chinese one. So you've got your default models, your default assistant model. So it'll pick Quen as the default one and the provider is Silicon. You can change that. So I can go in and change that. We can set that as that. And we can set Dolphin Llama 3 is the default there. We can go in our default assistant. We can set a prompt for it that will help fine-tune our results, our different settings here, and then, yeah, the about stuff. So the other thing is it looks like it's got different app front ends per se for different things. So Grok, your different AI providers. Again, all very Chinese. Your translation layer stuff, and then all your personal agents or assistants that you can use. So I could go in and ask for marketing, which I've done here, or SEO expert. And you can see that when I asked it in English for information, it responded to me in Chinese, which is interesting. And then I had to translate that into English. And then it did that. So it seems somewhat proficient with Chinese and understanding it, and then just asking it to translate will get you what you want. Even though I think for one of these, I did ask it to respond in English, and it still went to Chinese either way. So, yeah. If I go to this one, is Google trying to take over the world? It's going to go to Tiny Dolphin, load it up. You can see it's very quick. This is why I like Tiny Dolphin for video stuff, because it's pretty quick at its response because of how small it is. Now I can add an assistant here. Let's go to philosopher. We're going to pick Tiny Dolphin for this one. So yeah, you can see it's pretty quick, and it's basically set. We could, I think, take this. Okay. And then if we go to, come on, don't do this to me. Okay, cool. DeepL translator. So you can use these prompts to also determine how best to manage prompts for AI as well. It's like a really good tool for that. There's a talk, I think it's already been uploaded. Or no, maybe not. I'd have to go back and look. But that talks about building your prompts as well, that I may do something with later on. But yeah, Cherry Studio. It's a resource if you want to learn how to build prompts, because they've got a lot of pre-built prompts that actually do pretty well for what it's supposed to do. And then, but other than that, like, I haven't analyzed the network traffic to see what exactly it's doing. But it's an app image. You can set it up with Ollama as a front end, and it's there, and you've got different fine-tuning stuff in the side panel here too. So yeah, it's an option. If you liked the content, if you enjoyed it, if you think I deserve it, like, comment, subscribe, leave any criticisms you have or what have you. I appreciate it. Feed that algorithm, like I said, and I will see you guys in the next one.